Hello and welcome again, guys, to another video. This one is about the toolkit workflow, part of the series about the toolkit workflow. If you haven't watched any of the previous videos, I suggest you go and do it first so you know what this is and what I'm talking about. In this particular video, I want to go over the smart objects and what they can do a little bit, why they are so good. So let's start with Liquify, which is something that I came up with very early on in one of the very first versions of Retouching Toolkit. I've redefined it a little bit, and now I made it so that kind of weird size is this. Now I made it so you can update any type of smart object, which is pretty cool. Anyway, so if you want to liquify here a little bit, one of the things that this image isn't too bad. It's mostly a few things with the clothes I would care about. And maybe the elbow is a little bit sharp. So let's just bump it in just slightly. Oh, not that strong. Maybe something like that. And then I want to have a smaller size and zoom in here. Oh, not like that. I hate that the shortcuts is different here. And then I'm not gonna go through what all of these things do, but let's just, don't know why my cursor is thinking it's spastic. Very fun effect. Over here the cursor is completely still, but over here it's stuttering. Anyway, I'm not gonna finish this, but you could do just straighten this out, and then when you're done, you press OK. And now you have Liquify as a smart object, which means it's non-destructive. So I can do things below here. I'll do an example. Just a really bad example, as always. Come on, give me 100 flow. Let's say, all right. Let me paint. Oh yeah, never mind. I'm stupid. Stupid moment because I had the other one active. If we say hi here, and we want to keep this in the Liquify, it's obviously not in the Liquify, and that's why I didn't see anything. But then all you have to do with the smart objects of the toolkit workflow is you say update, and it will take everything that's below and put it inside of the smart object, which means it keeps the settings from your Liquify. And so let's do that. Might take a little bit of time on a big file like this, but see. Yeah. So now we still have the Liquify with the elbow, and here what we did, and it put hi in the smart object. And the cool thing about smart objects with filters is I could double click on the Liquify and modify it again, like continue or take it back if I wanted to, like reconstruct, stuff like that. Oh, pretty neat. So like I said, it's also not just Liquify that's useful in this type of way. There's the camera raw filter that has certain things that are useful if you want to do quick adjustments. So let's open up a camera raw. Let's just pretend that I have a full retouch here as well, and I decide on this stuff at the end that I need to change some stuff. I could actually do it. Like the HSL sliders are pretty good. Yeah, stuff like that. Let's just make this warmer as an example. And now I have it as a smart object. And again, if I do stuff below, let's not make the same mistake again and say hi again. And it's obviously not in our camera raw. I can do the same again. This is the last time I will show it, but just so you know, it's really useful for using this type of destructive filters, but you're making them non-destructive by having the option to update the contents without changing the settings. So like, for example, if you do a full retouch, or if you do your healing and cloning first, which I almost always do, then I can, after that, I can go and do my Liquify or my other adjustments to texture maybe. And then if I decide I'm going to continue to dodge and burn, and then I see another thing that needs healing, then I can just go back and hide the smart object and go and do the healing, and then on the smart object just press update, and then I would get the new healing that I did below. And that's the cool thing about this whole tab. Basically, there's some very unique settings to these filters right here. I did a lot of research. I tested every single sharpening technique, for example, and I could do a separate video about sharpening, and I might actually do that in the future. But these settings that I found here are the absolute best for digital images. A little tip though, when you go from like Capture One, or if you go from, oh, this is not Capture One, I closed it. If you go from Capture One or Lightroom, you wanna set your base sharpness to 0 in most cases. If you're using a camera and a lens that's quite modern, it has a lot of sharpness already, like from the beginning. So I'm shooting medium format, so for me, I always have 0 sharpening when I go into Photoshop, because I want to control it myself, and I want to have it after the retouch because it saves time. And the cool thing then in here is these smart objects. Is you can do the sharpening whenever you want. And then even if the client, or if you yourself decide to update things with healing or dodge and burn or anything that's below in the layer stack, then you can update it and keep your settings. Very important. The sharpening here, I usually, so in my workflow, this is more of educational, but in my type of workflow, I usually don't sharpen until after I resized, unless I need to find more texture, if there's texture that's lost in skin or such. But there's usually better ways to bring out lost texture with help of different methods. Also something we could do a separate video about. If you're interested, then leave a comment on videos, actually. Something that I just thought of now. Since everything that I record now is going to be on YouTube, you can make comments. So let me know what you think I should cover. Because even though this is more about the product, the toolkit workflow, it's going to be a lot about retouching, because that's just the way I am. And I am a retouching teacher, so... Okay, so without going into exactly what all these do, sharpening is very good. Grain is something that I add to all of my images in some sort of degree. And I found a really hidden gem inside of Photoshop how to do this grain. And I'll actually do one just to show you. I wouldn't do it on this until I resized. Or you don't always resize, it depends on the print, but or where the output is. But where I found it is actually very cool. I was always using alien skin exposure just for the grain before the plugin, because I like grain and adds a harmony to an image. But I found a really good one inside of Photoshop, actually, and it's not generated using noise or anything like that. It's part of the blur gallery. So it looks like if you want to do blur, has this filter. But at the bottom here, it has noise, and it has a noise. So Gaussian and uniform is the ways you would do it before. And the way you, like if you do the high pass with add noise and you resize and you add more noise, and I've seen a million different ways of adding grain. Never been happy with them. Always been using alien skin exposure because that actually adds real texture from analog film. I believe it looks like it anyway. So here is a really cool one. Anyway, let's add a lot because this image is big and maybe even bigger size, so you can see it. Oh, you're not even gonna be able to see this. Okay, that's fine. Let's zoom in so you can see it. Yeah, you can definitely see it now. I accentuated it now because I know that YouTube is compressing this image, this video quite a bit. But I like this grain a lot. Not this strong, obviously. Not this big, obviously. But what I wanted to show is that in this type of workflow, where this is also a smart object, again, actually this one you might actually be able to, yeah. This one isn't a stamp, it's just a gray layer. And then with the, okay. And that's why it works with the blur gallery, by the way, because it will blur, but blurring a gray layer does nothing. So the blur here doesn't do anything, it just adds noise. Very, very nice. Big tip. It's without a doubt the best noise I've found in any software, including adding noise in raw converters. I think this one's even better. Very cool. Okay. That's all for this video. And I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you for watching.